Well, hello everybody. Welcome to P.B.M. Money. Okay, so my second job is I work retail and I run a cash register. And I've learned a lot of stuff at the register, and I don't mean, retail stuff, finance stuff. Now, one of the things that I have noticed is I have a lot of time to think about content for videos. So I was at work the other day and I was brainstorming on ideas for videos, and it just so happened that one of the things that I have learned happened, and that is, once again it hit me between the eyes that old people don't use debit cards. And I thought, wow, I need to prove that. So I got a piece of paper out, and for just two random hours, every time I ran somebody through the register, they would either use debit, credit, or cash. And I kept track. I made a little mark. And then after 2 hours, I folded it up, put it in my pocket, and came home and looked at what happened. I suspected what happened, but I didn't know. Now, I learned quite a bit, and I'm going to share with you the numbers because I have exact percentages because I took all the numbers. Now, not only did I do that, but I broke it down younger than 50 and older than 50. And now you say, well, how can he know? Because you're just going on looks. No, because of the business that I'm in, I have to ask everybody's age. So I know exactly how old they are. So, nanny boo boo. Okay, so we had just 2 random hours, and this was on Memorial Day weekend on a Saturday. So we were busy. But I didn't miss one person. I didn't make one exception. There was one that I forgot to ask the age, and I guessed. There was one person that happened. But no. Okay, so first I'm just going to give you the stats, and then I'm going to kind of tell you what I learned from that. First, we're going to cover the under 50 years old. 58% used debit cards, 33% used credit cards, and 8% used cash. The numbers kind of surprised me. I really thought that the debit cards would be higher than 60%. I thought to be 70 or 80. And it could have just been the time of the day, it could have been, but just random. Now, remember that, 58, 33, 8 for the under the 50 years old. Now, what about the over 50? And by the way, we're talking percentages, but when I counted the actual number of clicks for each one, it was within 2. So half of my customers were under 50 and half were over 50. It was amazing how that worked out. Because I would have guessed 70% were under 50, but no, it was 50-50. Which worked out really well for the video, so I didn't have to make statistical analysis of it. They just go right down the line. Okay, over 50 years old, 27% used debit cards, 50% used credit cards, and 22% used cash. Okay, so what did I learn? Well, I learned some things I already knew, and that was over 50 uses credit cards versus under 50 uses debit cards. That I knew. The percentages were a lot different than I thought. Now, one of the unique observations that I made is that if you take the debit cards and cash, all right, because debit card is basically cash, and you add them together in both categories, so they go to the register and they're paying. They're either going to use cash or debit. Under 50 years old was 66%. And that was about what I would have expected just for the debit cards. Versus 49% for the over 50 crowd, and that's what surprised me. not because of the debit cards, but because of the cash. The over 50 was 22% cash. Now, it appears to me that the baby boomers and beginning Gen Zs, so over 50, when they were under 50, we all used credit cards. So when we got to be 50 and over, we continued to use credit cards, only we changed the type of credit cards to cash back. Because I get to see everybody's credit card that they use. And I got to tell you, I know some of the, well, I know most of the credit cards they're using cashback credit cards or mile credit cards. They're not just using their local bank credit card. So as we aged, we continued to use credit cards. The young people that came along, under 50, the numbers completely flip-flopped. Okay? So over 50 on debit cards, 27%. Under 50, 58%. Credit cards over 50 years old, 50%. Credit cards under 50, 33%. So the numbers have completely flip-flopped. Now, I tried to figure out why that is, and I think because the press and our school systems have told everybody that credit cards are bad, evil companies, which is a holdover from when we were young, because that's what we were told. But they're not being educated, and especially millennials. They think credit cards are terrible. My son makes a ton of money. And he told me one day, he said, "Dad, let me bring you into the 21st century, okay? Let me get you a debit card and you just get rid of your credit cards." I was like, "Why in the world would I do that? What's your debit card do for you?" Anyway. So I don't know exactly why, except they're uneducated and they think that they're going to have to pay extra money for a credit card. They're just not educated. And that's one of the reasons I want to do these videos. Because hopefully someday, someone's going to teach these kids, hey, you can actually make money with the credit card. You can't do that with a debit card. We just completed a game. We made over $1,000 in a year on credit cards, and I don't make a lot of money. But if you do it smart, you do it right, you can make money. Easily. It's not like one of those, you can do it, but you got to have a master's degree in finance. No, this is easy peasy. So the numbers that that came out confirmed what I thought. It was just the degrees, and the one that stuck out the most was over 50s, 22% paid in cash versus 8% for under 50. That surprised me. Well, one of these days we'll do another random 2 hours and we'll see if the numbers are the same. Just thought it was fun. Have a great day, have a great week, and happy investing.